This podcast includes explicit language and sensitive topics that some may find offensive.
All views expressed belong to the individual speaking and not a representation of any entity that we have been, am now, or will be affiliated with. It's your chance to back out now.
That being said, if not, enjoy the show.
Previously on the Black Man Misunderstood.
It says vengeance is the Lord's. So the question I'm asking is a very petty question, but it's a serious question too. As a Christian, are you allowed to defend your home?
Yes, you are allowed to defend it. But killing
Black man, misunderstood.
It's your boy Mike B.
In the neighborhood therapist.
Welcome back to the Black Man Misunderstood, where we discuss topics about the black man that others are afraid to speak on. I'm your host, Mike B, and this is episode 10 of season 4. Nah, I don't think I care. Joining me as always, my brother.
Justice Payne Tyson, the neighborhood therapist, the one and only.
Yes. And this episode, we got a special guest. His name is Jonathan Boone. Jonathan Boone, introduce yourself to the listeners.
What's going on, everybody? My name is Jon Boone. Happy to be with these two gentlemen today. I am a jack of all trades, master of none. I got a bunch of education that hasn't made me a millionaire yet. So, you know what I'm saying? I got a lot of opinions on a bunch of different stuff, and happy to talk to y'all.
Perfect.
I like that.
We respect it. Hey, jack of all trades, master of none. You might be a master at one or two things, though. I don't need you sleeping on yourself, brother.
Hey, you know.
All right, but before we get cracking into the topic, people, I know y'all trying to figure out what this episode's about just by the title. Nah, I don't think I care. So this episode, we're going to be talking about several, I would say, hot topics going on in the world. We're going to dive into a little bit of different things, give our personal opinions on stuff and how we see the world going. Yeah, this is an episode that Mike B tried to bring up, and I think is much needed.
That was such a Smurfs PG rated R movie version of that, man. Let me go to the X-rated version.
Wait, hold up. It's only PG because I gotta give him the preference before we get going, because we already know we get into the nitty-gritty. Come on now.
Yeah. Mike has been beasting for this episode since season 1. Okay? That's the straight up and down from it. This man want to talk about everything that I don't want to talk about in this episode. So we're going to get it in. So I'm going to hit y'all with this disclaimer. Don't be trying to come for my job. Don't be trying to come for me as a man. None of that. So I'm going to tell you right now, the name of the title is the name of the title because of me. Because I don't think I care. I'm just being real with you. But we're going to get to this topic because Mike want to get into this topic. I just want to warn y'all ahead of time, though, bro. If you try to come with it, you're going to learn today. That's all.
Facts. All right, so I'm going to give y'all 4 definitions because, Mike is always big about definitions. And this is the definitions that I got for Webster, y'all. This wasn't a Google search, it was Webster. So the topic at hand, the stuff we're going to talk about today is cancel culture, wokeness, masculinity, and femininity. So the definition for cancel culture, this is what it gave me. It says the practice or tendency of engaging in mass canceling, and it's expressed as it's basically a way to express disapproval or exerting social pressure to the individual. That's the Webster dictionary of cancel culture. All right. Do you want to give your spiel, neighborhood therapist, before I keep going, or?
No, I'm good money. You got it.
All right. Jonathan, anything? No.
No, I like it.
All right, cool. The definition of wokeness. This one had to be second because it's big right now. It's basically the state or condition of being woke in a matter of racial and social injustice. That's the Webster Dictionary. And as you notice that all these definitions so far has one of the words in the definition, which I'm like, couldn't give me more meat, but okay.
Okay. That wokeness definition is wrong in regards to the black community. I can't speak for nobody else. The word, the way we know it in the black community is different. The powers that be took it and reshaped it to what that definition that you just gave us. My opinion.
I would agree.
And then I agree with you too. Because I would to say the definition I would use for wokeness is more so enlightenment in that manner. And it's not just particularly just race, social justice. It's just opening your mind to new horizons, period.
Thought. Yeah,
Yep.
just the thought, period.
Now to the other two, masculinity and femininity. So I'm going to give you both of these at the same time because it's literally the same definition, just one word change. So it's the quality or nature of the male sex. The quality, the state, or degree of being masculine or manly. And all you got to do is switch out male for female and switch out masculine for feminine and womanly. That's literally the definition that they gave. So, what makes something toxic, guys? What makes something toxic? What does it? I'm just starting there because we'll get to those definitions. What makes something toxic?
I think the easiest way for me to, and I'm literal, right? So I'm super literal. I can be deep, but like I'm just a literal person, right? So I think toxic is something that makes something that isn't sick, right? So something that isn't something that is pure, and you put the toxic thing next to it, and it makes it as toxic as the thing that made it sick in the first place. That would be my personal definition. So
I actually like that definition.
No, it's a good definition. No, that's definitely where I would go. Because like I would probably use an analogy of an individual. It's not that what the individual doing is toxic. It's the person and how he's, well, not the person, but the individual, how they're portraying it or using it for what they want.
yeah.
So that's basically where I'm going with toxic. So the reason why I'm asking this, guys, right, is because we always hear the word toxic masculinity more times than not. We don't talk about toxic femininity as much, but it's also there.
Yeah.
I like to let people know, and this is my honest opinion, toxic masculinity ain't a thing. I think it's toxic people.
Okay. I'm about to get myself in a whole lot of trouble, so y'all get ready to delete this episode. I think that toxic femininity is a lot more prevalent in today's culture than toxic masculinity is. I think based on the fact that I think for a long time there was a very toxic masculine normalcy to life and things, regardless of race, regardless of culture, right? My man Ron Burgundy in the 60s, what he tell old girl, nice shirt, maybe not wear a bra next time. You know what I'm saying? It was you can say stuff like that. That's how you got down back in the day. You know what I'm saying? But because that existed for so long, there was a course correction, maybe during the Me Too movement, maybe during the independent woman, 90s type movement, maybe due to the lack of male accountability in the 80s. All of these things I think attributed to this course correction to where, women weren't they weren't ready to, they were no longer going to accept the status quo of what men told them were acceptable. The problem with that is it was more of as opposed to a correction of our behavior, it was whatever you do, we can do too, or we can do better. And essentially, what it did was it turned men off to toxic masculinity it kind of put us on the defensive in dealing with toxic femininity. So I think that's my personal take on it. So like I said, go ahead and just delete the episode. I'm sorry for messing up y'all podcast.
You ain't messing up nothing, brother. You ain't messing up nothing. I would tend to agree with you too. Honestly, it's definitely what you said, because like it's saying that yes, we can do it too, but I look at it as like when we actually boil down to it, can you really do what we can do? And my answer to that is not everything.
Yeah. Yeah, I would
people,
agree with that.
and people can't accept that.
Yeah.
Think about it like this. Oh,
I'm just asking, is that what's making it toxic to people though?
no, it goes back to what I said. It's the individuals that's making it toxic, and I'll explain why. The feminine movement, right? Don't quote me. Y'all can do y'all research. This is just me having conversations with other females and males of all different shapes, sizes. So, feminine movement was more so a start for equal rights with women, right? And it's just to be considered equal. That's literally where the movement started. It's to be considered equal. What started to make it toxic is when they started to see some of these very specific things that men are doing and then want to do it, right? That, in my honest opinion, not all men can do it, right? Because not everybody can do everything. There's a spectrum, right? But it's majority men doing it, and they want to do it. But women, and this is my honest opinion, weren't built for it. So I think about it like this. When you think about construction, how many women do you see?
Not many.
Not many. Yeah. What's the reason for it? It's a very hands-on job, and guys tend to do a lot of physical labor more than women. That's just how we're wired. It's not even nothing about, a woman can't do the job. It's just men tend to handle more physical labor.
Yeah. I would say men probably are more attracted to that type of work as opposed to females, which causes more applicants, I would say, in terms of those types of, like I said, I work at a mine, and obviously, I think I got 1,000 employees, probably 150 females, probably 850 men. Just because naturally you wouldn't expect for women to do this type of work, but they do it at a high level. And the ones that want to do it really well, and they do it at a high level. I think I definitely understand that path of thought that you're going on in terms of, initially it was for the freedom to have the choice to be able to do those types of things if they wanted to.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I don't think, if I'm being honest, I don't think most men have a problem with that as an idea or a principle. I don't think that's an issue. My problem and my thing is that what happens is it's not the work portion of it. I don't even think it's the standard of male female role type of a deal. For me, I think that men have a level of built-in natural. Like I said, I know my whole fan base is female, so I know I'm finna get canceled, right? When we talk about but I think that men have a natural accountability and decorum in regards to some things that women don't have. I don't know that women always fully understand what it means to support. Let me give an example. For instance, if y'all was my boys and I look like this, and then y'all don't see me for a year and I get fat as hell, y'all are gonna tell me You be eating a lot of motherfucking donuts, my dude. You know what I'm saying? You gonna tell me like, hey, you know what I'm saying? Like we're gonna joke about that instantly. If we get ready, if something happens, that's gonna be a subject. You know what I'm saying? It's not gonna be the subject of the night, but we're gonna joke about it. Y'all gonna make me know that hey, that ain't cool. You know what I'm saying? Like this ain't what we used to with you. You know what I'm saying? We know you a long time, do your thing, right? When it comes to females, right, that type of support is more like you're beautiful no matter what size you are, right? That's a fact. You are beautiful no matter what size you are, but there needs to be some accountability in saying, hey, this isn't healthy. And I think that that's what gets the toxic femininity to a high that it doesn't really particularly get to with men. Men check other men, homies check other homies. You know what I'm saying? We embarrass each other. Like women's biggest fear is embarrassment. You don't go out with your boys and not get embarrassed. What are you talking about? We're here to embarrass each other. That's what we're here for. But that iron sharpens iron, right? It makes us have better character. It makes us hold each other accountable in those regards of ways. Women support each other blindly sometimes, and it's not always to their benefit, in my opinion.
I respect that. Yo, I respect that answer through and through. Bro, you ain't got nothing to say? Huh?
No, that was beautiful. I just the whole toxic masculinity thing. I feel like it came out of nowhere, man. That's just my personal opinion. It's
I
a new
agree.
word. It's a new word. It's kind of like the woke thing. Nah, hold on. I'm gonna say that we've been had woke. The media has taken it and tainted it, but that toxic masculinity thing. When I saw females calling brothers that, and this might give me cancer. I really do not care. The softest guys that I've met in my life, when they started calling these brothers toxic and masculine in the same sentence, I was just like, come on, what are we talking about, man? What are we talking about? And they had to take me back to that episode that we had was what is a man? You know,
Woo, my boy. My
what is
boy.
masculine? What is feminine? And I think we've lost that. Muddied that in this whole social media internet era.
That's what it is, my boy.
Yeah,
I
every
don't
day
even
the
think it's the
definition
I don't
changes.
even think it's the media. I think you're right. I think it's that social media. You know what kills me? That's another one, dude. I hate TikTok vocabulary words, bro. Like it's like bro, like when we was coming up, we had SAT words, you know what I'm saying? Like stuff that you learn using in a sentence. Like, bro, women teach each other the worst words. Toxic is one of them. Cognitive dissonance is another one. What's give me I like narcissist was one like a couple of, bro, they get these TikTok vocabulary words and they just throw them they just throw them around and paint everybody as these things when it's like, no, that's just a human person that didn't get along with you, that didn't marry you. Like he's not a narcissist, he just don't like you that much. That's okay. Like it used to be okay to have opinions on things or to like or for things not to work out, but now it has to be labeled something so that I can heal from my personal journey. No, that's not a thing.
That's real. No, that's real. No, that's real. That's real. That's real.
Love bombing. That's another one. That's another one of those TikToks.
so, so I'll say this also. So, yeah, we got these words that are buzzwords now. We got social media platforms that are basically everyone's life. They live on it and things of that nature. And so, toxic masculinity, yes, I don't think it's as prominent. No, like I'm not saying that it did never existed. Like I'm not gonna say that because we know that men created a lot of the order of things and hierarchies of stuff. So it was prone to men leading, keeping men in certain roles, and women didn't have as many opportunities. Perfectly fine. I get that, and I know time and time again, men who actually have some sense come to admit that. But we also know back then, a lot of these kings had a queen behind them that was helping them along the way. but we ain't gonna talk about that right now because
I mean,
you
you
know
just
people like
describing hyper masculinity, not toxic masculinity, bro. Toxic masculinity is literally some new age bullshit that they came up with. I'm sorry, I'm
no,
not.
but
There's
that's
nothing nice about that.
No. But what I'm saying is that's what they're taking, and actually, this is where toxic masculinity started from and grew into what it is now. That's what I'm getting at. That's what I'm getting at. But toxic femininity, one of the this is my opinion of one of the most funniest things that I think that's probably the most toxic thing about toxic femininity
Yeah.
is that people gonna hate me. Instagram models show off all their body to the world. Right? And y'all can take that and run with it however you think, listeners, with all the different apps that we have nowadays. And complain when guys say cover up. And I get it. Some guys who say it are the same ones going and liking all these photos and pictures and whatnot because they naked. But the thing also we also have to understand is how men are wired. Goes back to what I said earlier about physical. When we see a physical body, that's why if for all our listeners who go to church or just happen to know church culture, that's why when leaders say women, and there are men too, watch what you wear to church. They say that for a reason because you can put someone in a state where they're supposed to be focusing on something else. They can't focus because you in a maxi dress at church showing off all your goodies, and he's supposed to be listening to the word of God.
Man, that's bro. I'm not trying to hear all that, bro. You got some discipline as a man, bro. I'm not. I'm really not trying to hear all that, bro. I ain't gonna lie.
No.
I'm not trying to hear all that, bro.
Wait,
Like,
but no. But hear me out. It's twofold. It is twofold because you can have look. It could be you, me, or Jonathan. Because I'm pretty sure we're at the point where like, that ain't bothering us. But even still, if that woman's trying to flaunt herself in front of people, because that can happen in certain instances or certain individuals at the church. Just because you got it, you ain't gotta flaunt it. Sometimes you can't hide it, and I know that's the case too. But yeah, it's some self-control, but it's also on the woman to actually be knowledgeable and understand what she's wearing and what her body type is.
I think you have to know your audience, but I'm not even gonna put that off on. I agree with
Yeah.
my man. You gotta have some self discipline in terms of those types of things. Because for me, it's not even about like if you want to be naked. Hey, that's you. That's what you want to do. That's what's up. My thing is Dave Chappelle said a long time ago. He said, "How would you feel if you was in a dangerous situation and you ran up to somebody that looked like a police officer and they said to you, just because I'm dressed this way doesn't make me a police officer, right? Like that you are putting yourself out there in certain ways, just understand that you're going to attract certain types of attention, certain types of looks from both male and female. And as long as you are comfortable and confident with that, eat. You know what I'm saying? Go for it. I don't have no issues with that. You know what I'm saying? My thing is like, I don't like the fact that you do it, but then you act annoyed because this dude's jumping in your DMs. Like that. No, that's you.
You're attracting a certain group of men and not the one that you want. Yep. I get you.
Or it is the ones that you want, but they don't got the wallet, you know what I'm saying, that you're looking for. Because if the right person do the same thing that you complain about these other persons for, you're not going to complain, right? So my thing is just like, you know what I'm saying, like hold yourself accountable to it, men or females. Hold yourself accountable to whatever it is you're attracting and whatever it is that you're putting out there. That's why we have to make sure that we are uh, CEO of our personal brands from the time that we wake up to the time that we walk outside the door, because we are always projecting something, whether we like it or agree with it or not.
Respect.
no, you brought up Dave Chappelle, and I'm gonna go ahead and hijack Mike's episode real quick. I'm gonna go into the next question. Can you even cancel someone? My answer is no, because you just brought up Dave Chappelle. Y'all been trying to cancel Dave Chappelle since the Dave Chappelle show.
Yeah, no, I
That's
agree.
that's
No, I
it.
agree with you. Yeah, I don't think that you can cancel somebody. I was thinking about this when y'all were talking about it. It's because it's the same. It's like it's the same type of thing with a bunch of stuff these days. Like everything, it sounds terrible, but like everything's like babyfied now. Like cancel culture back in the day meant that they killed you, right? They like Martin Luther King got canceled.
Ooh, yes.
This stuff that y'all do these days, that's not cancel culture. That's just a bunch of people going online and rioting with modern day pitchforks, which is just cell phones. You know what I'm saying? Like, this is not cancel culture because nobody's losing their lives over this stuff. Nobody's, stopping movements because of this stuff. It's just a bunch of people putting their opinions together to, shoot people. That's not cancel culture. Cancel culture is what happened to Emmett Till. Cancel culture is what they did to Jesus. We don't like what you're saying. We are canceling you. That's cancel culture. That's a different type of cancel culture. That's real cancel culture.
No, I like that. I like that analogy. That's all facts. To add also on, how is it cancel culture and you still talking about the person after you try to cancel them? How is it cancel culture? That's the real question.
Right?
You constantly still bringing them up. You constantly bringing them up. You bringing up the old stuff, even though they done moved on from it. You holding on.
Promotion.
Is it really cancel culture, or is it I just want my way culture?
Mm.
That's all I gotta say about that one. That one's quick and easy. But I think this one we're gonna spend a little bit more time on. When is being woke wrong?
It depends on what definition you're rocking with. So if you're going by Europeanized definition, which is Webster, the ball in your court, you know what I'm saying? Because they saying Disney woke. And at times I see where you're going with that based off of that definition. But if you're talking about the cultural enlightenment wokeness of what I know it to be, watching Get Out and going, oh, finally y'all understand. Me doing that to other people, they ain't never wrong to me.
I agree with you. Yeah. I wish more people would wake up.
Bruh. But you know what I thought about when I thought about this question too? I was thinking about more history wise. When anyone got enlightened, the world got better. So why we always trying to shoot down enlightenment being woke, as we say? It's understanding our past and where we're going to in the future. We've had so many different renaissance, because people like the word renaissance, but they don't like to hear the word woke. It's the same thing, just two different individuals using words.
I think you got to call it out like my man said. At the end of the day, they have taken wokeness. They like to repackage their nigga. That's just what it is. They like to repackage it. Like, okay, we can't say that no more. Let's say colored. Okay, cool. Let's say black. Let's say woke. Let's say diversity and inclusion. They just repackage. They just want to repackage it so that it's so that they can trick the sponsors into thinking that it's something that's not derogatory. But at the end of the day, they use woke in a derogatory manner when they can't even do this stuff if they didn't wake up in the morning to get out of bed. So at the end of the day, to say something being woke is a negative is literally just a repackaging of foolishness by those who hope to keep us asleep.
That part right there. Hence why they trying to ban all our books before we get to them. That's all I'm gonna say.
So John is banging y'all on top of y'all head with absolute knowledge, right? And I just want to piggyback on this, okay? Because I only got one question for this topic, all right? Our cancel culture, wokeness, and that's what I'm gonna call it, masculinity, femininity, toxic, or have people just lost touch with what it means to be a good person? That's my question.
I like your question, and that's when I 1000% agree with that. That was, when I talk about my own personal journey, it was realizing that there's an evolution of being a good person, right? I have become super complacent with just being a good person. I had a mentor one time. He used to always say, John, don't believe your own commercial. As I get older, I get it. He was saying, in the commercial, they just show you all the best stuff. They never tell you, what I'm saying, how it's going to break or how it's going to shut down. And, you get to a point where, what I'm saying, like, you haven't been to jail, you don't do drugs, you don't hit women, what I'm saying, you make a little money. I'm him. What I'm saying? Like, you tell yourself that. But at the end of the day, there's still an evolution to that, because I had got to the point where I was, what I'm saying, like, masking over my negatives, what I'm saying, or saying even worse, I was negotiating with myself, like, oh yeah, like, what I'm saying, I do this stuff. I don't do this. I don't, I'm not doing this or that. So I think that, what I'm saying, I had got to a point where it was like, listening to too much Kevin Samuels. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes you get into those situations where you start to be like, okay, what I'm saying, I had to take an honest inventory of myself. Okay, like, hey, there are things that I can work on. There are aspects of my personality that are toxic. There are aspects of my personality that are negative. And I want to work on those so that I can become a more well-rounded human being, so that I'm not messing up people who aren't toxic in the ways that I'm toxic, and that I can be more woke to learning different ways that people go about the way that they do their things. And if you stay in that state of always being coachable and always trying to learn, you have the opportunity to continuously improve as a person, which I think I probably had like a good 5 years where I was just kind of like coasting off my goodness, as opposed to actually trying to become a better version of myself. So yeah, what I'm saying, I think I 100% agree with you, is that people just forget and become out of touch with being a good person, not even on purpose, right? Not just because the natural pressure of life sometimes, you got to believe your own commercial to get to the next day. You know what I'm saying? But if you do that for too many times, you know what I'm saying, now you getting high on your own supply. So, it's a fine balance.
I, I will say this. I think what you're referring to, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, is that we have this mindset of self first, right? And just thinking about ourself and not thinking about ourself like, all right, this is what I want to be a better person. How can I help the world? And people gonna take that and be like, I don't want to help the world. Yeah, you do, because it's when I say the world, I don't mean everyone in the however billion people is on this planet. Your world could be your family, your wife, kids, the people you work with, your community, the city that you're in. You're trying to better that location, because I think it's like what my brother always said: each one teach one.
Mm-hmm.
If you help one person, then that's the ripple effect of that person going to help someone else, and you don't know how many people you're going to affect in your lifetime.
I agree.
It's taking the self focus out of it and thinking about how can I help someone else, which is that someone else is the world, but people don't phrase it that way.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna show the listeners and the viewers in real time how to be a good person, how to learn to be a good person. Watch this. John.
Yes.
You got a 90-year-old grandfather that still DJs, correct?
That's my man. Yeah.
Okay. I need you to tell me, does he live on social media?
No, he don't even. He don't live on social media. But let me tell you something. My granddad is more savvy than my 92-year-old grandmother. So he tunes into. So he actually broadcasts his church on Facebook every Sunday. So Does he live on social media? No. He has no opinion of himself on social media whatsoever. Social media is a tool for him to talk about DJing or church. That's it.
Okay. All right. By your definition, is your grandfather a good person?
Oh yeah, the best.
Okay. If he don't deal in social media, wink wink, how did he get there?
See what you did there, son.
I'm just asking you a question. Seriously though. You've known him all your life, right? If he don't deal in social media, how did he get there?
He had to actually be a good person. Yeah, so giving homeless people money and shooting it for the gram, embarrassing the homeless person and giving them money at the same time. You know what I'm saying? Like he was actually just out living his life every day, just trying to be a good dude. It worked out for him to this point.
Okay. All right. Now I got the biggest takeaway question from this little spiel that I'm doing about your granddad. Because a reason why I'm bringing it up, one, because I was intrigued. That was phenomenal to me. I heard that episode. I was like, nah, I gotta ask him, right? But
Yeah.
two, it really makes sense about this good person personality. Because now my question is, he's a DJ. How is he keeping up track with the new music? Because the new music will warp you to being a different type of individual, but he's still a good person.
You
How is
know,
he appreciating?
I think that it's a really good question. And I'm gonna ask him tomorrow. He called me every day at 5 a.m. regardless of time zone I'm in. But my granddad introduced me to Soldier Boy, right? So that may have been I'm 40, so I probably was 19. But like he was like, oh, you know what I'm saying? You need to listen to this. I think this is gonna be big. I was in college. I was a college DJ at the time. And I was like, what is this? But he introduced me to Soldier Boy. He's introduced me to a bunch of artists through the years. You know what I'm saying? He has done concerts. He used to do a bunch of No Limit concerts and, stuff that used to come through the city. But you know what I'm saying? In his personal time, he listens to, the blues. He listens to jazz. He listens to gospel. But I will say, about a week and a half ago, I called him and I was just checking in on him. And in the background, it was like Missy Elliott's "Get Your Freak On." I'm like, Granddad, what you? So he's managed to. He could. I think that what he's able to do is he's able to compartmentalize music as being entertainment and not life. And I think that's the problem sometimes.
There
Is
you
like
go.
take Sexy Red, get on these internets, and the girls is like, we doing this. This is life. We want to be like that. You know what I'm saying? And he can, he can say, okay, that's entertainment, but that don't bleed over to my real life or my real household. You know what I'm saying? Like my grandmother is 92, and she's fierce. So I mean, like I can only imagine if he tried to bring some foolishness into the house, how that might go for him. It probably wouldn't go as well as he might think that it might go. So you know what I'm saying? I think you got to be able to step away from the stimuli that's not positive. And you know what? I guess you got to be able to recognize first that that's not stimuli that you want bleeding over.
100%. John, I appreciate you
he
for
hit it on the
opening up
head
about
with
that because that is going to help somebody. And let me end by saying this, okay? My next question was going to be, why do we care so much? But John just answered it. I don't know if y'all caught it. So the answer is because as humans, no matter what you say, you want to be entertained. That's where woke comes from. That's where
Yeah.
cancel culture, toxic masculinity. You're being entertained. That's why you keep feeding it. That's it. He just told you about the stimuli. That's all this is, bro. It's entertainment. What you are entertained by may not be the same as what this person is entertained by, but
Yeah.
you're gonna take it and you're gonna keep feeding for it. That's why I
Yeah.
tell people all the time, I'm like, yo, bro, every human got an addiction. You just may not be privy to it.
Ooh, that's a
That's facts.
bar. That's a
It is.
yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. But also to that, my pastor said it best, right? We all, and y'all just completely said it. We all sick. We all could be sick for different things or have an addiction. Just because that's your addiction don't mean that's my addiction. We all sick. Because you can know someone who don't drink at all, but they could go in a bar and not be tempted to have a drink whatsoever.
Yeah.
They'll
Facts. That's
hold their ground.
my granddad, the DJ. He DJ in the hole in the walls and clubs and bars. He don't drink. He never has drank. That's the character that I hope to model or to have one day, to where I'm not affected. Because let me tell you, I get affected. These women will affect you, okay? And you know what I'm saying? Like I need to. I'm trying to get that. Even at 40, I'm still trying to develop that tougher shell that he has, to where, he don't really care what somebody says or what happens. You know what I'm saying? He's not gonna let that disturb his personal peace. You know what I'm saying? I'm trying to get to that level of wokeness, of enlightenment.
Yo, shout out to Granddad, man. This episode
Shout
is
out
named
the
after you.
Boone's touch. Hold it down.
Hey, this episode named after you. Nah, I don't think I care. It's named after you, big homie.
Facts, big facts.
Hey, man, I ain't mad at it, man.
Man. In
What's
all
up with it,
honesty, these last two questions, I think we practically already answered mostly just by conversation. I'm gonna just spew them out just so we can have all those collected ideas at the end so if the listeners want, they can just zoom to the back and get the gems that we're about to drop. Why has the world view shifted on these, or are we being played?
Oh, conspiracy justice in the building. We definitely being played. And played is too nice of a word. You being duped, as they say back in the day, bro. It's a fact, bro. Oh yeah, because I like to. And this is 100% definitely about to get me canceled. It's gonna get all of us canceled. I'm sorry, I got to do it. COVID didn't pop up until Hong Kong got out of line with the riots. I'm gonna leave that where that's at. So if social media is that powerful to take something and to make it bigger, you know what I'm saying? What does that take? There's people at hand touching things so that you can view this lens, view that lens. Y'all act like Free Palestine is something new. That's been going on for before I was alive. I
60
was
years.
No,
John was alive, bro.
No.
You feel me?
No, not even that. It's in the Bible.
It's in the Bible. That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. When you being duped, you see what you want to see, and even when you travel overseas, you start to notice, like, man, we don't got this in America. Why? America's supposed to be the land of the. I'm going too far off in the deep end. I'm just
No,
saying.
you're not.
Question.
No, you're not.
No, you're not. No, you're not. Because I would definitely say we're being played. Just like there's a reason why the U.S. Congress, the government, wants to block TikTok so bad. Because TikTok has its negative effects, but it also has its positive effects. Because the wokeness that they're trying to air quote, where it's only simply enlightenment and people learning from each other, it's getting to the people too easily.
Yeah, they can't control it, and that's why they want it filtered. They can't. It's nothing from stopping us to go on there and telling everything we know, and the button pressers don't like us telling that they're pressing the buttons. That's the issue. See, they ain't trying to ban Facebook. You can do everything on TikTok that you can do on Facebook, but Facebook got a filter by the government that TikTok don't got.
That right there. So, we're just going to end it off with this question. When it comes to these topics, do we understand what we're arguing over? And I'm going to answer this first, and I'm going to say no. Because, like we said, it's an addiction. People just want the entertainment value of it. People just want to be right sometimes. And I also think it's the human nature of trying to know everything, but we don't know everything.
I can agree. What
But
else, Mike?
I think that's all we have for you folks. But before we go, I like to give Jonathan a moment to have his last remarks and to let you know about anything that he has in works, that he has coming up on his end. So, Jonathan, the floor is yours.
That's what's up, man. I appreciate you guys having me on. You know what I'm saying? Invite me anytime. I got my podcast, which is How to Fail. The easiest way to find it is ask Alexa, Siri to play How to Fail podcast, and they'll play it for you. It's also on YouTube. You know what I'm saying? I'm on TikTok. all those good things. But at the end of the day, the biggest thing I'm working on right now is I'm starting my nonprofit. It's for business culture, business coaching. Essentially, what it is it's free, and basically it's a think tank incubator. My hope is that people of color jump into it, but it is open to everybody because it is a nonprofit. But my hope is to take the MBA and the years of successful business and the law degree and all that good stuff and help people to be able to successfully launch their businesses. So if you're a bomb kitchen beautician and you want to start you a shop, but you don't know where to put it or how to market it or how to balance your books, I'm going to coach you from beginning to end, put you out in the community, help make you successful. So, you know what I'm saying? That's the next biggest thing for me. And hopefully we'll launch 10 structured, successful businesses the first year, and we'll just kind of grow from there. So I'm excited about that. Blackwall Marketing, my marketing company, is always here to help creatives to get themselves out there. And that's all I got.
That's all you got. You hear this guy? That's all he got. Man makes out here like.
Hey, you got to.
Folks, when we tell you, we bring people on to share their stories, and specifically our Black brethren, sisters. It's like, this is the reason why. Because we got to give ourselves more opportunities to connect and network to broaden the horizons. We've been doing it. They've been trying to squash us all these years, but they can't. We keep coming up.
I love it.
So, like I always do, folks, everything he just said will be tagged. So, if you want to support, go support. With that, folks, anything else, my brother?
Oh, yeah, man. Shout out Granddad, bro.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
That's what's up. Wilbur Bone, I'm going to send this to you. Shout out to you. You know what I'm saying? Hold it down for 90 years.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Respect.
And with that, folks, we see y'all next week. Peace.
Good deal.
What up, listeners? Mike B here. Hope you enjoyed the episode. You can find us on IG at BMM_podcast. On TikTok at BMM Podcast. Facebook, just type in the Black Man Misunderstood Podcast. And then you can find the Neighborhood Therapist at the Neighborhood Therapist on IG. And you can find myself at MikeB_BMM on IG. And if you want to connect with our producer, the DJ himself, Mr. DJ Daxter, check him out at DJ Daxter on IG. Alright, folks. See y'all next week.